Good evening. Why does that sound weird? Does that sound weird to you all? Are you getting feedback at all? Let me know if you are. Sounds good? Okay, well, I don't know why it sounds weird when I hear myself, but I mean, hey, that's I sound weird to myself. Hey, Denise, Punkette Jingles, Denise, Cool Gamer, Emily. It's good to see y'all. Mm, I am tired. My entire family, well, is sick already in the school year. So I'm feeling okay now, Pamela. It's just been more of just like lethargic feeling for me. But my kids are all have really bad colds, and they do not have COVID. We've taken, done the testing and everything, but they have colds. But we have a really strict attendance policy this year at school, so it's kind of like they need to be there, but it's just a tough call. It's just a tough call. Hey, LFT. Hey, Brandy. So I'm gonna get right to it. I don't want to make any enemies tonight. So no one can here at this channel, all opinions are always welcome. The only thing that I ask is that we all do it respectfully and that we don't storm off like children. Um, and we just deal with things. Hey, Pointer Lover. Hey, Beatlemaniac. So first I want to talk about Lucian. So I know the other night that it is, Denise. I think it's they just got back to school. There's a change and the weather's changing, all that jazz. And my kids go to school at like 7:15, and my two oldest play sports. And they typically don't get home until before on days of just practice, they don't get home before 6. On days Brandy, on days that they have games, we don't get home till 7:30. And so they're a little bit run down. So we're going to talk about Lucian. We're going to give updates on that. We're going to give a little bit of, hey, Amanda, a little bit, okay, Pamela, of an update on, um, I'm not even sure if I've talked about this yet, but Lyric Woods and Devin Clark, they were the two teenagers that were tragically killed in Orange County, I believe Orange County, Florida. No, North Carolina, excuse me. Just a really horrible story. And then I want to do something. So I want to play a little bit of so we're all seeing, Kylie's still the big talk and everything. I want to take a second. Did I miss Amber? Oh, there she is. And I just want to play the devil's advocate on the other spectrum of Kylie's case. And I'm going to open panel. If you come on and you're nasty to me, I'm going to mute you or kick you off, because here's the deal. I do think there's foul play involved in Kylie's story, and I'm going to tell you that right now. But I do not think it's in the way that that people want, the narrative that's out there right now. But there was Sally sent me, I believe it's called I think her name is Julez, and her this what she did, this video was a fantastic job of, kind of debunking some of the things that we're being told right now. Yeah, Amber. So please don't hate me, guys. Let's just be adults in here, all right? I will say it again. I do believe there was foul play involved. Yes, Kaylee Jones, she's now been missing officially 3 months on the 14th. She They had a vigil for her here a few days ago. There is absolutely zero leads, y'all. And I can't, when I send my kids off to grandparents or something for a night, but by like night 2, I really miss them. I can't imagine being a parent and now having not even heard or seen your baby in 3 months. And that's possible too, bless Lulu. And It's just awful. So just pray for some sort of, and as we've seen with several cases, law enforcement is pretty much non-existent now. So it's just terrible all around, all across the board. Exactly, Brandy. Okay, but before we get there, because I know we're going to go off on a tangent once we get there, let's talk about Lucian. So, Amanda, I've talked to Amanda a little bit, who lives there, and I just want to tell you guys that I've been pretty respectful, and I'll still try to be respectful in regards to his case, but I am going to say that I say, you know what? These are my daughter's essay. So, I, hold on one second. I had a knock to give him a please don't fight. It's time to go to sleep. Um, did you, Amanda? Okay. I do think there are several things now that the parents have done and are doing that makes makes me go, all right, BS. For one, y'all, I did. Okay, Amanda sent me today's news link, which I'll read. I did. I'm not sure if I told you, but I reached out and because somebody contacted Adventures with a Purpose. I think I told you guys, and then I said to the family member, because remember they started their own family page. They wanted to be in control of it. So I said to the family member, "Well, I thought somebody last week did this." And then they said, "Well, I meant we got the information from them." So there's a lot of things some family members are saying that other family members are saying didn't happen. And I don't, hey, Jameson, I don't know if it's just that there's too many people with hands in it or what. Now, I will say that there is some, so people want to legitimately say, so they've raised the gun GoFundMe to $10,000, which really isn't a lot. I want to say, though, that people were under the impression that that was being used for the hotel. It's not. People actually paid, Cookie Jar, thank you, Jingles, actually paid for the hotel so that it was free. They don't live that far away, but I understand they wanted to be close to the park. Fine, that's great. But what people are having an issue with, and I can't really say that I blame them, is why you are not issuing a reward with any of that $10,000. It's now up to $8,000 has been raised. So exactly, Pointer Lover. Now, Pointer Lover helped me test this out because Pointer Lover went in there and things kept getting deleted. So questions are getting deleted, and when you question somebody else, they say they're being deleted because it was an aggressive question. No, people are just trying to ask you questions like, did you contact this person? Have you checked this? Things like that. Um, So as of today, it just says that it's been more than a week since 4-year-old Lucian was missing. Police continue to investigate tips. Really, police aren't investigating very much. They've gotten about 5 calls every day with numerous emails of potential leads. He went missing at 7:15. He went missing. The call went in to the call went into, and this is proven because I mean, you can check public records. The call went into law enforcement at 7:29. So between 7:15 and 7:29, I mean, that's just under 15 minutes. He completely went missing, vanished, not a sight. Dad couldn't find him anywhere. I don't believe that. No, exactly. Pointer Lover. I know. There's several comments being, hey, just Carrie, I just, and now people were there today, right? And said, we were there and there's no booths that we were supposed to get the stuff from. And then the family said, oh, well, they're there now. Well, I thought you were staying at the park to avoid being too far away. They did have divers come in Sunday, and absolutely nothing was hit. So I did look up that Harry Oaks. Remember, I said he looked on Kyron Harmon's case. Now there is discrepancy on him. Some people said he's caused a lot of drama within the community. And remember, he said his dog hit on a missing child, which to this day I still don't know how you tell that it was a missing child. I don't understand that. But They checked that area. The divers came, and yet again, now for like the third time, um, he was not located. Like, I gotta say, I don't think that baby's in the lake. I want to show you some videos of the surrounding of this park. So that's the other thing, Brandy. Everyone is saying that there's video confirmation of him. There's video confirmation of him, and yet police will not release this so-called video of him that there is, as well as there's also several rumors that have come straight up. Oh, hey, Sally, I'm sorry. Hey, Jen, have come straight up from family members saying that there is no video of him, and it's actually they're saying that it was the brother who's about the same height and weight as Lucian, and the father pushing a stroller. And now tonight on Facebook, one of the locals came out and said, I'm from there, and we were there the exact time that Lucian was there, and his dad and his brother, and we did not have any, we do not remember at all seeing Lucian there at all, but we do remember seeing the dad in a stroller. Let me make sure I haven't missed any of this. And the one interesting thing that law enforcement is saying now is it says, again, we are continuing to follow any information that we have. If there was a kidnapping, if there was any foul play, as of now, we don't have any information to give on that. Now, do you remember what they said 4 or 5 days ago? They said, Sally, you might have to exit. If I missed anybody, I'm really sorry. They said they do not suspect foul play. Well, now we're day 7. It's been over a week, and they're saying if there's foul play, I I I get Summer Wells vibes. So, in my opinion, one of two things happened. Okay, one of three things happened. He was kidnapped, and when I show you some of the area around there, he was kidnapped, or he his family did something, and I hate to say that, or could we be sorry, could we be looking at a situation where it could possibly be financially motivated? Like, well, I mean, I'm sure there's cases where somebody has fake hidden a child before, right? Isn't there cases where people have, say they've hidden a child and then, for like some sort of money. And I hate even thinking that, but I wanted to show the other thing. So I will say, so there was somebody that asked, here's the family. All right, Tia, thank you. Here, yes, I can never, the membership is in the description because I don't know how to post it in here because I can't find it. I'm just going to give my children a really quick talking to. They're fighting. One second. Well, I'm sorry about that. One of my children had a lit candle and was flinging it around. This is what happens in Parker's house, I'm telling you. So, somebody asked on the family page, it said, very honest question. Why hasn't reward been offered? To which the family member says, we are working through Crime Stoppers to make this happen. And then this woman says, thank you. There have been some very different responses to this question. And now there's family members that say they were at a different park beforehand. There's family members that say they were not at the park beforehand. There's also family members, or there's also people saying, hey, we remember we were there and we saw mom there. So you're not going to tell me right now that you're not, maybe it is. Well, Annie, that's a different thing. Ellie hasn't even, law enforcement hasn't done a press conference. So is it a possibility that they don't have video? They're trying to get somebody to come forward. I don't know, but I do want to show you some images of this park they were at. And guys, I just in my gut, and maybe, yeah, my kids. Oh my gosh. And maybe I'm going to be wrong, and I so help me God, I hope I am, but I just don't see it being he just wandered away. And several people have said that. You mean a 4-year-old just wandered away within 15 minutes? I mean, he must have been hauling butt to not be seen. Hey, Charlotte. Exactly, pointer lover. Exactly. Exactly. And now people are saying, but we saw mom there. Remember, mom was at work. Well, a very good way to prove that would be to also obviously call her work. I don't think that's as weird as some of the other things, but um, why do they have to work with Crime Stoppers to offer as reward? That I agree too, Brandy. That I agree. So we've seen that before, right? Like the lack of response being to let them talk themselves. So I wanted to show you. So that here's this one. Let me make sure I'm showing you guys and it's not just me on the screen. Hey, Lori. So, and I don't want to spend a ton of time, but this is important. It says, did the family leave the park? I went up there today and it's empty. Somebody asked that on their family Facebook page, and that's when they said, well, we went there today. We went there today. Now, there are certain areas that the family members saying, don't. Well, here we go. This is just a couple hours ago. I came to the park and didn't see the tables or anyone to talk to. Family member said, good morning. Thank you for coming. We do have someone there now. Okay. Well, you told me that you needed to stay at the hotel to be closer. I've got to find these images, y'all. Sorry, just bear with me. It was really good. Shoot. Sorry, I know I'm whizzing through this. Oh, wait, duh. Okay, so here's some images of the park. Okay, I'm still showing you. Well, right, Brandy, and they were only, I believe, like 8 minutes away, but people were like, no, they just want to be close to the park. Like, I get it. Okay, that's fine. But here you can see, oh, there's some video I'm about to show you guys. It's just, so this is all of the park where he allegedly disappeared. Let's get off that really quick. Ah, shoot, I can't find it in here. Now there are flyers that are being removed, but I mean, we've seen that happen before. How do I find videos on here? Like, is there a spot that just says video? Because that's what I really want to see. Bummer. Now, there's, everyone saying, well, dad is on drugs, blah, 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 blah. I don't like to say that because we really can't prove it. So, what people are trying to prove here is that his veins are bulged out. I don't like that kind of stuff because none of that. I mean, that's just really big speculation. And to call somebody an addict is kind of poor taste. I know I'm whizzing by y'all, but just bear with me for 1 second because I know it's here. But there's like 50 posts a day. Oh, well, I'm going to have to show you later and look for it because it was pretty good. I did not realize. So basically, all it was is I did not realize how many homeless people live along the river. Hey, Malibu Barbie. It was actually wow. So if if the family did have something to do with it, it would be a very interesting. Thanks, pointer lover. It would be a very good place to blame a homeless person. if that makes sense. Because for one, the homeless community that lives near there aren't really talking to them right now because obviously law enforcement isn't going to be, they want to stay under the radar, right? So they're not getting responses from the homeless people that they would like. And I don't know, there's just something about it. I don't know, y'all, and I hate thinking that, but it, yes, so he did lose 200 pounds in just 4 months or something crazy like that. Allegedly, he's on the keto diet. Now, my husband has been on a keto diet for not even keto, he just eats meat. It's disgusting. Who eats meat for breakfast? But okay, other than bacon and such, whatever. And he's lost a lot of weight, but nowhere near that amount of weight. Like nowhere near that amount of weight. So there are, a lot of the speculation of the drugs, but we do have to be really careful about that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that they killed him, but I'm saying that there are a lot of things that they need to answer and that they're not. And there's also people want to know, why is dad exactly, Nikki? Why is dad has not talked yet. Mom has talked. Dad has, wow, Malibu, dad has not said anything to the media, to social media, anything. And I get wanting to be outside of the case, but at the same time, you were involved in the case. Mom was working, you know, uh, and law enforcement's been so quiet, so quiet. They haven't told us that anybody's been cleared, which in my mind means the family isn't cleared. Um, my issue with the homeless community and somebody doing it for the home, hey Sandy, for the homeless community is they're homeless, right? Where would they take them? They've been allegedly searching this park, and we know there's been searches because we've seen them there. People have seen them there. People have gone and helped search. But I would think that if foul play was involved with a homeless individual that lived there, wouldn't they still be there? Like, thanks, Nikki. I haven't followed many like homeless murder cases or anything like that. I know that sounds awful, but wouldn't they typically find the victim sooner than later, if that makes sense? Like, I don't see a homeless person hanging on to a child for over a week. And I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you find a case that's happened, please send it to me because I want to be able to compare. Because right now, I don't at all feel like he just walked off. I don't. Like, and because also too, when they searched the lakes, they didn't, like, I know they said it's very dangerous to dive there alone. It's full of weeds and everything like that. But they also didn't just use like underwater drones and divers. They also used like infrared and things like that. Probably things that people in the Kylie Rodney case should have used, other than, adventure with a purpose. But I don't see, I mean, where is a homeless person going to keep him unless he was dumped into the river? I don't know. I'm open to any thoughts. Uh, and what would be okay, last question. What would be law enforcement's reason for not releasing video other than they don't really have video? They do, Nikki. So, Nikki, the only thing with that, and the reason I'm hesitant for that is because we all know that bodies can go unfound in lakes, obviously, um, is because it's a half a mile away. And they called, so at 7:15 they got there. Dad went to change diaper and went to change the diaper. And by 7:29, they had searched everywhere, hadn't found him, and called law enforcement. So in 15 minutes, he went all the way to the lake and drowned a half a mile away. I just don't, not at 4, not at 4. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that if he ends up being found there, like it just doesn't. And Nikki, that's entirely possible. That's a good point. They may have proof of, Yeah, and they have video and they know it's not him. That's entirely possible. Hugely possible because I mean, in Kylie's case, well, no, they showed the screenshots of the gas station, okay, but yeah. So I just think there's just too many things that don't make sense. And I guess the fact that law enforcement. Okay, Jax, perfect. Hi, Parker. To answer your question, I have heard of homeless people committing murders, but they are usually right. True. Okay, Jax, that's what I figured. That's kind of what I suspected. Because they've got nowhere to go with them, and yeah, that's kind of what I think. So, or it's just a pedophile. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. But I know they said they dived in the waterways and found nothing, but do we trust that? Yeah, Beatlemaniac. So the guy that there was a couple people that came and dove, and then another one's coming to dive, but they were waiting on getting permission from the boat ramp or something to be able to dive. But I mean, at this point, I feel like it's been dove in so many times that um, I also have a question. Wouldn't he have floated up by now? Unless he's caught in weeds, right? Like, doesn't it can't take over a week to float to the surface, can it? Somebody that knows water, help me out. Right, Brandy. No, Lori, this happened. It says it was just over a week ago. I believe it was 12th, maybe. True, Brandy. Or they weighed him down. Yeah. So the options basically, if he's still in that pond, is either he's caught in seaweed or he's been weighed down by something. Well, that right there, like that right there, exact. Okay, yeah, Jax, both of you, Jax, everybody here commenting. I just thought of that. It has to be one of those two options. He's either caught in something or somebody's weighed him down. Wow. I think that's why law enforcement isn't saying much. These things, see, when I talk these things through with y'all, these are when things hit me. And I'm like, I didn't think of that. Even in a river. Get out of here, Brandy. Really? Well, that's awesome. See, I don't know much about him at all. Um, but that and he was very upfront to say there's so much contamination there right now that the scent could be somebody else that is missing. Wow, guys, my mind is blown. I need to Punkette, are you still here? I need to find out what the bottom of Buchanan Lake looks like. I know they said it's a lot of weeds and you can only see a certain amount down, but wow. I just Yeah, those are some strong weeds. Wow. Good work, y'all. I needed that. Okay, so true LFT, and we're talking many, many days now. Oh, there's Punkette. So while we're waiting for her, I also want to talk about such a sad case. And this is Lyric Woods and Devin Clark, and they just arrested, and we can still talk Lucian, but I do want to just mention this. They just found. Okay, Punkette Tia says check currents, weather, and bottom. It's going to depend on what kind of vegetation there is in the bottom. Okay, so we need to check all that kind of stuff too. And the entrance, Punkette, where the dog went in, we need to check what that specific spot looks like. Hey, Yvette. y'all, we might have just uncovered of whether it's possible or not. My mind is blown right now. How did I not think about the floating thing? Yeah. So they made arrest in the Lyric and Devin case. This is absolutely tragic. So these two, well, it doesn't show these two high school students. Now she's a high school student. She plays travel volleyball. He allegedly, I believe, was on the football team. I can't remember if he's graduated or not yet, but they were found. They went missing from. They were both murdered. They were both shot many times, and it says that um, they were found by ATV riders on a private property off a rural stretch of Buckhorn Road in Mabane, I don't even say that right, North Carolina, on Saturday after the teenagers' parents had reported them missing. Now, I will say that it says, I want to find out who the 17-year-old. So it does say they arrested a 17-year-old suspect and they've charged him with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the teenager's death. He obviously they're not going to say their name because they are teens. However, it says that judges and courts can shift that to be an adult. It said that, so here's where they were found. Let me make sure I'm sharing this because if not, you guys are just looking at a blank screen. All right. Yes, they were a couple. A 17-year-old, guys. What in the world? Like, how? So this is where they were found, and it said there'll be a memorial there. A 17-year-old played football at East Alamance High School and wore number 4 jersey. His teammates called him Deuce 2 times to represent his number. Uh, and she said, I'm not a bad parent. She said, I feel bad for this juvenile's parents. So at the end of the day, I pray for everything that's going on and everybody that's in that situation. She's a better mother than I am. Lyric is 14. He just turned 18 then. It said, oh, it does. Okay, so it says they were friends but not dating. They are believed to have been picked up by an unidentified adult in an unknown vehicle. So we know now that they were picked up by that 17-year-old allegedly. Apparently, there was more though I wanted to show. So Lyric was a freshman and again played travel volleyball, but I want to get the most updated information. So, oh, whoops, I forgot. I got to get that back on there. Are you Kellyanne? I probably missed a whole bunch. Yeah, 17-year-old, they're saying that I missed probably a lot of comments. So hold on. Let me just share this. This just, it breaks my heart. He was a stud. She was absolutely gorgeous. It said Lyric was seen by a neighbor. This is the girl in that area at 3 a.m. on Saturday. It said they were shot dead with a hail of bullets. Okay, so we know that they were seen in the area at 3 a.m. She was on Saturday, and deputies believe someone in the vehicle gave her a ride. I don't understand. That doesn't make sense. Her phone, iPad, and laptop were taken into evidence. Lyric and Devin's family wants clarification about what happened to them. And with Devin's mother, Tiffany Concepcion, saying, who is strong enough to carry 2 bodies and dump them? We want answers. The sheriffs have given out no information about who may be responsible. We know that's not the true now because we know that a 17-year-old was arrested. But hold on, let's see what else they're saying. Um, that's what I understand. I don't think they were walking. That's what I'm trying to see right now. This says as of 3 hours ago, it sounds like they're still looking. It says a 17-year-old is wanted in the murder of the slain high school students, Lyric Woods and Devin Clark. And they were found by ATV drivers. We do know they were shot multiple times. And it says the suspect's name has not been released because he's 17. However, with probable cause, a judge has the ability to transfer the case into the adult justice system. Wow. Clark loved riding dirt bikes. This is what we learned Monday. They were found around 3 p.m. So we know they were seen at 3 a.m. Said they were entered into the NCIC at 1:42 on Saturday. No, this must have been the date. Yeah, 1:42 on Saturday. And then it said it again at 3:44. And they were found the next day at 3 p.m. And I've also seen where, it said that they went to sleep and then they were gone. Let's watch this. Why am I not sharing anything with you? You're all just sitting here looking at me. Sorry. Wow. So they're looking for a 17-year-old. I apologize. Let's watch what this person has to say. This is nuts, y'all. What is happening to our world?
So there are online fundraisers right now to help both of these families with funeral expenses in the community.
As a suspect in the murder of two teenagers in Orange County. I want to say a good Tuesday evening to you, live from the Raleigh Eyewitness News Center. I'm DeJuan Hogarth. Steve Daniels has the night off.
And I'm Lauren Johnson. The bodies of 14-year-old Lyric Woods and 18-year-old Devin Clark were found Sunday afternoon in Orange County. Both teens had been shot. Tonight, there is a juvenile suspect in the case. Elena Athens has been following this story very closely. She joins us from the Orange County Sheriff's Office in Hillsborough, and the sheriff is focused on the arrest and not talking to reporters right now.
Yes, the Orange County Sheriff's Office says a lot of work went into getting to this point, and a number of agencies were assisting in those efforts. The deputies were being told will not rest until that suspect is in custody. The Orange County Sheriff's Office now seeking a juvenile petition against a 17-year-old saying the individual is responsible for two murders. Sheriff Charles Blackwood saying in a statement, "I want to thank the families of Devin Clark and Lyric Woods for trusting us and the investigative process during this excruciatingly painful time. I hope the apprehension of this suspect will bring them some comfort as they mourn their loved ones." The teens were found dead with gunshot wounds in a field. A wooden cross and makeshift memorial now standing in the spot. The family of the 17-year-old Lyric Woods has not been willing to speak, but social media comments are giving us an idea who the ninth grader was. People writing, "Lyric was such a beautiful and sweet little girl, and I have no words that could even offer comfort. May you find peace eventually within each smile and bright song that you sang." Loved ones of 18-year-old Devin Clark describing the high school senior as a good kid who loved playing football. Oh my God. A family friend going to the scene today and leaving flowers.
Just standing there, it just feel like a presence that they, I know they weren't ready. It's terrible just standing there, just looking. And you could just imagine maybe two bodies sitting right there. It's just sad.
She's in a chorus of people demanding justice.
I hope it helps. I hope they found who done it, but it's not going to bring them back.
So there are online fundraisers right now to help both of these families with funeral expenses, and the community is really rallying around these families and offering support in a rather big way. More than $20,000 has been raised for either of those accounts. We're live in Orange County tonight. Elena Athens, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, showing up in big ways to support these families, wrapping their arms around them. Elena Athens, thank you.
Yeah, she was 14. Devin was 17. So this is really awful, but it was just updated. The grandfather of Lyric went out to the field, and the cross was it says, "I put the cross here with lights on it as he cried to the reporters. And he said, I put the lights on it because she was afraid of the dark. She was 14 years old, afraid of the, okay, I'm afraid of the dark and I'm 40, but still, afraid of the dark. She still had braces. What kind of a 17-year-old? Why? The motive is confusing to me a little bit. What I'm wondering is if, so we know it says that they were friends, Lyric and Devin, they were friends. They were probably pretty close, but what I'm wondering is if, I know Tia, right? Is if there was a jealousy thing, or so Lori, it says she went missing in the middle of the night and that she was reported. Well, it says she was entered into the system at 1:42, but I think she was actually reported in the morning because that is true, Brandy. That is true. But by the time it was actually put in the system, I guess was the afternoon. He might have been a friend of Dev. I mean, y'all, they weren't just shot. It said a hail of bullets. They were killed by a hail of bullets. This was somebody, if it's a 17-year-old, and we know the mother saw the 17-year-old, I guess, because she said she wants to see the anger of the 17-year-old. She might not know. She might just know that there's a 17-year-old suspect. But this was somebody that was angry at them for something. And what I would, the only thing I can think of is he was in love with her. And oh my gosh, Jax, are you kidding me? Yeah, like 15 shots, Nikki. Yeah. You have to really, really, really hate somebody to do that. I mean, to kill him and all, right? But to do that, unbelievable. Exactly, Beatlemaniac. Exactly. I think she did, Lori, because I've seen multiple places, and maybe since LFT, maybe she's seen this as well, that they left with an adult. Oh, thank you, Kellyanne. I'll look at that case. Okay. Now, unless this 17-year-old is huge, I wouldn't necessarily say they could mistake a 17-year-old. I don't know. There might be an adult involved. Thank you, Punkat. Old gravel. So Buchanan Lake is old gravel pit that was. Wow. Okay. Exactly, Amanda. Or what if he took them into the field? I don't know how he got them both there by himself. Or did he shoot him out there? And if he shot him out there, he needs. I'll see, Pam. I'll check now. There has to be something that he told them to get him out there. I don't know. Maybe it is drugs, but it does sound more. Oh, let me see what this is. So what Punkette just sent me, not Punkette, Pamela just sent me. It says, the mother of the boy, Devin. Oh, so I saw this, Pamela, but thank you for reminding me about this. So the mother of the 18-year-old boy who went missing with the 14-year-old girl is speaking about where her son's body was found and how she was only allowed to identify him by clothing. Says she was only allowed to identify him by clothing, but Lyric's parents got to see her. Now, that could be for a couple reasons. It says that she does know, though, that he was brutally murdered. And she could only identify him on the phone with authorities by telling them the clothes he had on when he went missing Friday. However, Lyric Wood's body was recognized by looking at her. It's still unclear why she couldn't identify her son's body despite his condition. It said, but for those who will say he was probably unrecognizable or he was probably in horrible shape, she said it doesn't matter. She's his mother. It's not uncommon. I mean, isn't it like, I mean, Gabby Petito, her family, well, her stepfather chose to be the one, but it's not that uncommon, is it? Were they arrested for that officers don't let you see his face was unrecognizable. I know you want to see your kid, but sometimes, like, I'll look into that, Kellyanne. They're looking to protect you. Like we were with Kylie's case, you know, her dad didn't want to stay there because he said he didn't want that to be the last image of her. But I guess it should be the parents, you know. But maybe if his face was unrecognizable, she wouldn't have been able, you know, it's just, oh. So that tells me, I'm so old, that Devin did take the brunt of this. And so now why the question? Why is the question? Because that's a lot of anger. And it's so hard for me to think that a 17-year-old could do it, but I guess we've seen worse, right? Exactly, Brandy, exactly. And even though we're like, no, we want to see it, we want to see, and then in that situation, I don't know, it would be really hard, I think. What did Denise said, you don't want to see like that. Yeah, Emily. Oh, Yvette, yeah, it does sound like definitely close range. And why they can't find the 17-year-old, I don't know. Did they take off, or, you know, there's so many questions. What led them to this? So I think we're going to keep, hopefully the answers keep. These two kids sound like they were pretty, you know, pretty popular kids. So then you have to ask yourself, where, you know, who did they tick off? What did they, I don't know. It's so disturbing. My daughter passed and I had to see. Oh my gosh, Nikki, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's awful. So we'll try to keep updated on that the more we know. And I'm going to do a little more digging into that. And all I can say with the Lucian case is just keep. Why does it keep saying juvenile charged? Oh, so it says as of 5 hours ago, they finally have somebody in custody. But I'm not seeing that they have him in custody. Oh gosh, there's images of the grandfather putting him on putting the cross there. So I want to take a second to listen to something, and this was actually really good for me to hear. True Beatlemaniac. Sally sent it to me. It's Julez. And the reason I'm playing this is because, you know, I have my opinions on Kylie. Here, anybody can come up if they want to. But I said, please don't hate me from this, y'all, either. Okay, be kind to me because I'm not saying anything bad. And I want to reiterate this. I do believe that there was foul play involved in Kylie's case, but I do not think it is in the way that people are saying. I think that she might have OD'd or something along those lines and went in. I don't know. But, and we're not going to spend too much time on this. What I do want, What I do want to emphasize, and I want to listen to this because this really was like, wow, I didn't even think about that, is that if we are going to examine all possibilities of Kylie's case, then we need to examine all possibilities. Okay? Hear me out. Before I say this, just hear me out. All right? I do not think this actually happened. I do not think Kylie committed suicide. I don't. Okay? Just heard me say it. I don't. But if we are going to say that Jagger killed her or the tow truck guy killed her or all this stuff, we have to evaluate everything. Okay, so why aren't people saying that she could have driven herself in the lake? Why? So the tow truck driver, here's this tow truck dude, right? Well, I don't believe that he at all saw Kylie. I think that, Beetle, is this really you? Hold on, I gotta see. Okay. Hey there. I do think, or I don't think the tow truck driver called Kylie or saw Kylie. Here's my reason I don't fully believe that the tow truck driver story. Because I noticed last night when somebody was playing the video that he said a week after he finally realized that it was the Kylie case. And from I think the tow truck company he was with was from Reno. And so hey, Jen. Oh yeah, Jax and I have been talking. Yeah, Jax is awesome. There's no way he didn't see stuff about Kylie for a week. And I do believe that the reason people are saying Boca is because that is where that one girl came forward about 2 days after Kylie was gone missing and said that she found that tank top or whatever. See, Denise, so there's 3 sightings of her vehicle. I haven't heard of the sightings of her vehicle. And I 100%, but we have to, okay, so with knowing that, then we have to figure out how could they have possibly gotten her vehicle into a lake with no one, with no one ever seeing. There's just so many things that don't make sense. Sammy, I will say, is she a liar? Probably, absolutely. Is she lawyered up now? I guess. Should she be? Immediately, she should have been. But Beatlemaniac, go ahead and share whatever you wanted to say, and then I just want you guys to hear some of these theories debunked. There's just like a couple of them, okay? Just a couple of them. All right, go ahead, Beatlemaniac. Did you want to say something?
I'm just here to support my Parker. I love you.
Thanks. Hold on a second, y'all. So, how do I get? Hold on, I have to get back here. What did I just do? Oh, I'm an idiot. Hold on. I feel maybe she was yeah. They were not going, AWP advertised they were not going there. No one knew they were, and the law advertised that they were pulling out. True. All right. So one thing I got to make sure I do on here is I don't want her to just strike me. So, but this is, and I'll give her credit. I just got to remember who she is. All right. I just want you to listen to this a little bit.
Hey guys. So I know the title screen for my last video about Kylie Rodney states it was going to be the last one until law enforcement gave us an update. Now I know that we are hearing they could be doing so next week. So we could have something as early as tomorrow. I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend to know what they might tell us, but I really do hope that they come out and say something. because it would help die down a lot of this crazy stuff going on, don't you know? Now, I am trying my best to not delve into any of the rumors that some of these other channels are throwing out there when it comes to relationships between certain people involved in the case and how they are speculating certain things. But I am here to set the record straight on at least two things that are going around right now that, if anything, just shows me that people do not do their own research whatsoever. The first one I would like to talk about is the News Nation reporter who stated that Kylie's body was in the passenger seat. The fact that people are actually taking that to heart when it comes to this case, when we already know that that's not true, is ridiculous. If you hadn't heard of a typo of the mouth before, I mean, come on. These news reporters say things incorrectly all the time. Why do you think YouTube news stations are so popular? The other issue that is going around and causing a bunch of problems is that Crime Online posted an article where they stated that
This is great.
in an interview with Fox 46,
Listen to this one.
Jagger told them that he basically was at the exact same party as Kylie, and that they basically said their goodbyes and parted ways there at the party, from the way that Crime Online is wording this said interview. What completely flabbergasts me about this situation is that Fox 46 is in Charlotte, North Carolina. They're not even anywhere near the area. The news station in the area that would have interviewed anyone is Fox 40, not Fox 46. As a matter of fact, if you go to Fox 46's website and type in Kylie Rodney's name, there's only 5 articles that they wrote about this situation, because they are in North Carolina, so it's not like it's their own breaking news to be covering every single day. With the very first one being on day 10 of her being reported missing. And I went through and read all 5 of those articles, and I don't think I saw Jagger's name in it, not once.
Day
There
10,
have
y'all.
been a few comments stating that this was actually said to Fox 40, but that it was removed pretty early on. I'm not going to sit here and verify that. I can't remember a single time that I heard anything of the sort. I remember from the very beginning us being told that he had been texting Kylie throughout the evening about his crappy day, and that she didn't respond back to him until 10:30 with that very vague text message. I mean, that was part of the details in the video I gave where I show concern over the 4-hour time gap that we have no information whatsoever about Kylie. At 6:08 security footage to the 10 o'clock time that she apparently got there with Mags, we have no idea what happened in that 4-hour period. Something else that SF Investigates said in that interview that I talked about previously.
I will say that that has been one thing from the start that I've questioned, is that 4-hour span.
Is that she was apparently at another gas station type location. I took the information that he said about this because he stated it was on the intersection of the highway and the Coldstream Road that Kylie lived on. And this is the only gas station that looks like it would fit that description.
Let me see that part.
That they remembered her going in there. We don't know if it was before or after the 6:08 footage. We don't know if have remembered she only bought 2 gallons of gas, or there was a card swiped somewhere. And SF sure is talking about it, so maybe.
So what she was saying there was, how do you know there's 2 gallons of gas? Either the card was swiped, or either, or, somebody saw her do it.
The police have information on it. I don't know. But it's kind of strange how there's apparently evidence of her being at another location, just like in the Jolisa Fuentes case, but no one's giving us any actual details about it. Why? I would also like to touch on something that I heard on Plunder's latest video on the case. Apparently, she has been in talks or has been able to see things being posted by an anonymous yet verified family member of Kylie Rodney. Now, this family member was at both the life memorial that happened on September the 10th and also attended the private family function that happened afterwards. And I have some thoughts
I will,
about
Jax,
what
for
this
sure.
lady has stated. Now, this is someone who does think that foul play could possibly be involved. She didn't realize how many other people in the family and in the community also felt the same way until she went down there for these memorial events. Now, this family member has made it very clear about how they feel about the way that Lindsay is handling the situation.
This is really important to
Now,
listen to.
she's not grieving publicly from what we can see, but according to the family member, she is very much in a mourning state. And I never doubted the fact that she is feeling the pain of losing a child. But I do feel like there are things in this situation that she might be choosing to be naive about because it's easier.
That I agree
which I
with.
can slightly understand to a point, I guess. But it is also very clear that the biological father of Kylie, Dan, will be digging deeper, and he's not going to be letting this go. Now, there's a giant rift in the family, and there apparently has been for quite a while. And if you listen to the lyrics in the song that was found on SoundCloud that Kylie Rodney posted with a friend of hers a little over a year ago, and then you take into consideration everything that this anonymous family member is stating when it comes to the relationship between Kylie and Dan, the words very much do seem like they are cries of a daughter who feels abandoned. To be honest, I can relate with that. As a kid, as a teenager, I know for a fact that I felt the same way. So I can totally relate with her lyrics. And I will have a link to a channel under the name of Conspiracy. They took Kylie's song and did their own version of remastering to make it a little bit more clear on the lyrics. It's pretty deep, and I really hope all of you go and take a listen. But it would also explain why Dan is so publicly distraught. And this family member states that she doesn't feel as if he's going to stop anytime soon. He's going to dig as deep as he possibly can for answers about
Which is his right.
Kylie. So even though her mom in that portion of the family may just be wanting peace and to not be bothered right now, that doesn't mean necessarily that they don't have their own suspicions of things. And while granted everyone does grieve a little differently, it is still strange to a lot of people the relationships that we are seeing coming from this situation.
That I
But
agree with.
everyone does things their own way, I guess. Another reason why I wanted to mention the information that Plunder had from this family member
Bye, Brandy.
is because a lot of us have had a lot of problems with the fact that Lindsay has yet to thank AWP or even say anything good about AWP. According to what this family member has stated, Lindsay and that side of the family were just under the impression that Adventures with Purpose were social media clout chasers. Now, this is where I will once again direct you to Zav Girl's panel, where SF clearly states that the family asked him if Adventures with Purpose were legit. Okay, so if after all of this, their impression of Adventures with Purpose is that they're nothing but social media clout chasers, I'm just going to go ahead and let y'all put the blame there where you deem it needs to go.
I think that's Ellie,
Now,
not
that
him.
sentiment is not followed with everyone in the family or the community. According to this family member, a lot of them are very thankful for what both AWP and Check It TV did because they were able to get some of Kylie's belongings back. and Kylie herself. While they do thank social media to a certain extent, there are a lot of people that are definitely crossing the line, doxing people who don't need their information released, calling the lodge, trying to pretend to be customers just to get information, people coming in and acting like tourists when they're really just there to pry and harass them physically and in person. These things are not okay. You should not be overstepping your boundaries. You can state your theories, what you believe to be true, and what you think could have possibly happened here. But to dox family members and basically try to physically intervene in their lives is completely unacceptable. Now, the last thing that I want to say
No, she's
is
totally right.
something about the rumor being spread everywhere about Kate and Jagger.
Yes,
This
I
was a
love this
good point.
girl.
We have our suspicions on the two of them, right? Several of us do. The problem that I have, the biggest issue that I have, is that the YouTuber that was sent this DM about this situation isn't considering the fact that in what she is being told, this man, this boy, I'm going to assume, is stating that him and Kate were flirting back and forth with each other in these messages. And then all of a sudden, Kate sends him a snap like an I got a man, and it's you know who in the background. I cannot take that information to heart for so many freaking reasons. For one, Kate is very aware that everyone is suspicious of her. Jagger is very aware that everyone is suspicious of him, and the two of them are very aware that they are the ones that most people are suspecting were at the roadside assistance call. With the way that not only those two, but pretty much everyone else whose name has been involved in this situation is avoiding social media like the plague, except for Sammy every now and then when she gets a wild hair up her butt to start a new social media that she then gets attacked on and then instantly deletes it, which at this point I'm going to state is just for her own ego driven whatever is going on there. I don't understand why she
I
just
agree.
keeps creating social media accounts to post one or two things and then instantly delete it. I'm not comprehending that whatsoever. But with that being said, why, when she knows, Kate knows that so many people are suspicious of her, him, and them together, would she send some rando that she's been flirting with through social media a snapshot of them two together that she knows damn well can be used against her in a million different ways? This simply just sounds like a guy who contacted Kate trying to be her knight in shining armor because according to his words, he just felt really bad for her. And she probably just was not flirting back the way that this person is acting like she was and showed no real interest in him whatsoever. So to manage his scorned little heart, decided to lie. That's exactly what I think this is that is being spread around. A lie. Now, I could be wrong, but I know this person is only showing like text messages, and I can easily make those in my Canva app to look very real. So I'm just going to call bullshittery on that one and leave it at that. I'm going to hope that law enforcement keeps their word and actually gives us some sort of update this coming week. I know that if they would have just come out and said something, anything at this point, a lot of this circus would have probably been wrapped up and on the road by now. Let's hope some things change after they come out and tell us a few things. I gotta go give these dogs a bath, so I'll see y'all.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
Uh, as far as the kids go, and yes, I'll call them kids.
Mhm.
Although it's, a lot of people say 18 above is not a kid. The way people are going after these kids and starting rumors is uncalled for. I just wish people would wait for results. And as a mother, I can't handle watching that.
I just don't think Jagger was involved at all. I just don't. And I think she put Sammy in a very appropriate box when she said, I mean, Sammy, I didn't realize Sammy's still creating social media accounts. And then she gets attacked on them and then deletes it or whatever. And so in that respect, it makes me still be a firm believer in that she likes attention. I also saw somebody that said that, well, we know that Sammy was in charge of the party, and I saw somebody put that on the thing, like it was in Julez live, that like on the vendors poster or whatever they had, it was put like gas was for sale or something, and I didn't realize gas is another term for drugs. I mean, if Sammy arranged all this, she could be in a lot of trouble, some of the party, but I just don't think Jagger is involved. I really don't. Now, I read a few hours ago, and maybe this isn't true, that law enforcement confirmed his alibi of where he was the night before.
I heard that too.
Yeah, the fact that people are calling her lodge, her family's lodge, and pretending to be potential customers and stuff is out of this world. I did suspect that there might be some sort of a family rift because, you know, dad's pushing and mom is the opposite direction. So, it's not uncommon that there's going to be, if there was a rift before, it's just, I don't know.
Can I ask you? So
Yeah.
the grandfather, she evidently was living at the lodge with the grandfather. So is the grandfather the mom's dad or the dad's dad?
I believe it's the mom, but that's a good question. I'd have to look into that.
Okay.
I
Was
she
just
was,
curious.
I think, really close with her grandfather. Denise, yeah, I know he stated several different things, but I don't know. I just think that he got ahead of himself. I think a lot of these kids got ahead of themselves and they didn't realize how big it was going to get. And is it Sally, the mom's father? Okay. And maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll be wrong. And I know everybody's waiting for this bombshell information, but I really, really believe that they're going to say it's an accident. And I don't think that people are going to get the
Yes,
answers
they
they
will.
want.
They're going to try to shut people up saying it's an accident. When I say it's foul play in my heart, I think it's foul play because she might have drank too much or taken something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I truly feel. And I think something happened and maybe there was a cover up. I don't think anybody
That I
murdered her.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I that's how I feel about the situation. And everyone is saying, like, we don't know Kylie. We don't. That's the bottom line. I mean, she was probably your typical teenager that had a little bit of wild oats to sow. We have to understand. I mean, she had a tattoo, and not that means, but I'm saying, like, she was allowed to do some things, that I just think that we know it wasn't her first party there. I just don't think she was, I don't even know how to say it, naive to some of this stuff. I just don't. Did she deserve what happened? Absolutely not. Do I think somebody covered something up? I do. Why these kids weren't, oh yeah, Denise, why they weren't individually talked to, I don't know. Do I think law enforcement screwed up and is covering things up and is going to cover themselves? I absolutely do. And that's why I think they're going to say it's an accident. And I think this is going to be just like the Watts case, where we can burn and burn and burn and burn and churn ideas till we're blue in the face. And this is where did we end up with the Watts? The same place we started. Like,
It's
it's
going to
just,
be Kylie Island.
yeah. And I encourage you to look for answers if you feel led to look for answers, but don't let it destroy relationships in the process. It's not worth it. It's a case. Like, don't let it destroy who you view at, like, just don't let it destroy relationships on here. It's just not worth it. And look at everything. Look at everything. You know, how do we know that Kylie didn't start a fight? And I don't believe that either. But I'm just saying, like, we can't be so biased when we're looking at these things. Sammy is a lot. I mean, Sammy's a liar. Do I think she's a murderer? I don't think she murdered per se. Could she have covered things up? Absolutely.
There's so many scenarios, but yet no answers. And people are trying to make answers out of it.
But yeah, when we're getting down to dissecting like syllables or it's just kind of crazy, you know, like the car is so bad. Yeah, I mean everything, but like the FBI agent, Coffindoffer, I think I got that right, said like it's over. It's over. You think law enforcement is ever going to say we messed up really bad? It definitely was homicide. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. Jagger needs to stay right off social media. Like he needs to not respond to anything and get off social media.
Do you think they might come out with negligent homicide, being that something happened while she was in the presence of others?
That I think is a possibility. The hard part is where I'm struggling with it is how do you, yes, exactly, Denise. Denise, you know what? Thank you. Yes, because you know what? Law enforcement should have never, ever, should have gotten a gag order or something, just something to get these kids to shut up and get them off YouTube and get them talking to you, to law enforcement. Don't let Sammy run with it. Don't let just, yeah, that's the complete chaos. But how are you going to prove it? That's the thing. Because we've heard multiple people were in that car. So fingerprints are out. I just, and maybe somebody has a better idea of how they're going to prove it. I just don't know how you can prove something like that. Maybe I'll be surprised.
I don't know a lot about forensics.
Me
My
neither.
granddaughter's studying it right now.
You should ask her.
Yeah, I ought to drag her in the case and let
Exactly,
her get in
Pamela.
the big turmoil.
I would love, I fully support somebody looking into Placer County. Is that, or yeah, right? It's Placer, right? And figuring out, sure, Sally, I'm not going to be on here too much longer, but yeah, you can come up. Why those parties clearly happen a lot. I mean, it's called the sanctuary, right? Like, it's not the first time they've had a party. I would love to know some of the corruption within the actual law enforcement because I think there's some big time corruption within law enforcement. Why so quiet? Why not just come out and say something? Hello, Sally.
Hi, guys.
So I know Sally wants to say something, but what do y'all both think about what's going on with Examine? What is it? Examine and Ronnie and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I thought that I have no idea. I haven't even followed it much. I think that I don't buy any of it, but I just think that's a bunch of crazy. That it's like when remember when Nikki Kessinger and the baby that she was pregnant? That was the big thing.
Oh, there was so much bull crap.
And all those, or that Nikki Kessinger was related to Kim Kaufman, and all this stuff got spun. I think it might be something along those lines. I really do. I just don't, So I don't think that people are wrong necessarily for keeping the Kylie case going. I think you just have to really, really dig deep into the actual facts.
Hey, Sally girl.
Beetle. So in regards to what you just asked, before I say my mouthful of everything I have in my brain, if I remember. So I originally, of course, didn't believe it, and still I'm not sure about all that mess. I started to notice, especially like recently, I watched I think it was Lucian episode that he did,
Mhm.
and someone had brought up the point that he always seems to just happen to get locals from the area. And I'm starting to notice that. And I kind of think that Ronnie is like a friend of his who is just like pretending to be a local, or maybe is a local. I don't know.
Mhm.
Um, but Mark from Voices Behind the Wall, Cher's
Oh yeah,
husband,
yeah.
so he recently put out a video of, and it's like he's going through the Zanime video, and she's walking the beach or whatever, and she's right in the area of Kylie, like where they found her, and
Mm.
you can hear her say, "There she is," but she whispers it like very, very low under her breath. And if he wouldn't have pointed that out, like I would have never heard that. I mean, I wouldn't have gone back and watched it. But he did a live, I think it was Sunday, and he like the title is like, "Did we find something or something or other?"
Hmm.
And yeah, he's showing Zanime walking, and she literally says like under her breath, "There she is," and it was just like so creepy. And
Weird.
and she's not
Ugh.
from the States. And I know here sometimes when we talk about certain things, we'll be like, "There she is," or "There she blows," or something like that. But he brought up a good point. Like I just said, she's not from the States. That's not usually a slang or whatever
No,
that
I'd
like,
be willing to entertain watching that. Yeah.
yeah. I'll see if I can find it. I think it
Yeah.
was like an
I
hour
like
video.
Mark. I like Mark a lot. I think
Yeah.
he's pretty balanced, and I think he tries to avoid drama for the most part.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely. Because he even mentioned that. He's like, "I don't want to run with this, but this is extremely odd, like
mhm,
very, very odd." Um,
mhm.
So yeah, I think Ick and Mel just kind of gets people to call in and say they're locals, because I had noticed that like every show that there's something going on, he has a local call in, and I mean that's seems way more beyond a coincidence.
Yeah.
So
In the
I don't.
Gabby Petito case, he had somebody call in that said they claimed to know Brian Laundrie's dad.
Oh geez. See, yeah. So
Well, I mean,
um,
he does have like how many subscribers does he have? 100 and some thousand. So I mean, if people were going to call in, it would probably be to him. But I mean, you can't deny the fact where you look at people's numbers jumping up by the thousand when certain cases come out. It's going to happen when you have a big case like that.
well, when I first started watching him, he wasn't that big. He got big in the Gabby Petito case. And
Exactly.
when I mean, like, why isn't Zavgirl getting locals all the time for every case, or like all these
Yeah,
other big people?
good
There
point.
there's other true crime creators that have way more subscribers than him, and they're not getting local calls.
Hmm. That's a good
So
point. That's a good point. Yeah, I just with that, yeah, it's just all craziness. But from my standpoint, I'm just, I've told you guys before, I'm just kind of letting the Kylie thing go, because I don't think we're ever going to get the answers that we think. But I would be interested in, what is Placer County like? How are these parties happening? Is Kylie the only person that's ever like, I don't know. It's
that's
just,
that's another reason I wanted to come up, because when I was still, I mean, like you said, if you feel the need to push forward and like
hmm
listen to certain stuff, do it, but don't get involved in the drama. And so
hmm
certain things I will watch. And about 2 weeks ago, when all the crap started, I can't remember the guy's name. I could send it to you, but he has the video on like the insanity of that place. And it starts off with a prison, like the beginning video. I couldn't even continue watching it. I had to just listen, because it was a prison fight. Well, not even a prison fight. It was prison guards beating the hell out of an inmate at or like the jail, whatever, prison jail, whatever. And I my PTSD was going through the roof. I had to put my phone down and
dang.
just listen to everything, because I could not watch it. It was brutal. And I can't remember the name of it, but I think Kate is doing a live on it tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tonight?
She started, I think, at 7:15 though. Well, my time is what
I
it
need to get
showed.
over there then. I
But
didn't know she was going live.
I think so. I'm not positive, but because
Okay.
whatever her title was, it like kind of rang a bell in my head that I think that's what the association was with this other thing. But I can send you the video that this
Yeah,
other guy
she
made
is
too.
live too. Yeah. I like to make sure
So
we support her, so
yeah,
she's pretty awesome. Yeah, so let's just be very careful dealing with teenagers, putting people's Facebook out there, and just like Julez was saying, and I'm gonna put her link in the description. There's one thing I did learn from Natasha, despite what happened, was to make sure that we're looking at every side of it and with objectivity, like just watching some videos that maybe debunk some things that we've heard, even though it's not what we believe and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to do more than that, but mainly there's just so many cases.
yeah.
But who's that? Julez, Denise, she's the creator. I just played her the voice clip. I'm actually going to reach out to her and just say that I appreciate the way she handled it. I didn't think it was disrespectful at all. I love that kind of stuff where she could debunk things based on facts. That to me, I love
Yeah.
because that's what we should be looking at is facts.
She's pretty awesome. Like she's like you. She's like level-headed, and she doesn't run with the circus.
Yeah. So let's hop off. I'm gonna jump over to Kate's, y'all. It's Kate Does Crime.
Can I say something real quick?
Of course.
I heard you. I was in the process of calling in. You were asking something about the fingerprints and getting what's his name? Ed Wallace was on Duty Ron's channel, and he was talking about that the fingerprints will be obtainable, even though it's been underwater for so long, because I guess since he's like into forensics, that he has tested it where he did fingerprints, and then he power pressure washed his truck, and then he was still able to obtain the fingerprints off of his truck.
Now that would change things.
Yes.
And I could probably try and find that too, so you could see that. And then also Nick Wren was on the interview room. Chris McDonough, I stopped watching him. I didn't agree with how he implicated that one kid, but when I saw Nick Wren was on there, I watched it, and that was a pretty interesting episode as well. I forgot now what I was going to bring up about that, but he made a comment about how it's going to be a complete circus if the police, say it's an accident.
I know.
So, and I'm wondering, I wish Chris was asking some good questions, and I wish he would ask I wish he would ask will you release, anything if they do say that, but he didn't ask that. So
and if you can find it, and Denise is totally. She said there's too many adults. Which she put it very well. There's too many adults putting themselves in the mix. I agree. And then I liked what she said with everybody changing, with these young adults changing their story. You don't know what's fact and what's fiction. And like I said, Jagger, get off social media, dude, or people are just going to keep going at you. Don't get off social media. But all right, well, I'm going to hop over to Kate Does Crime.
Okay,
and I'll send over there.
Thank you guys. You're awesome.
Okay, have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.